Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
And welcome to The Source. Coby, we are coming up on our 250th show.
Yes.
Can you really realize that you were with us all 250? This is when you don't look to be that old.
I know, right? I don't have too many grades.
Yeah, well, I can't talk to you. I keep mine cut off because I do have a whole lot of those. But we've been together, other than Jay Street, and he's still around. But other than Jay Street, we've been together just talking about the news, talking about the city. We went through some hard moments where things were just shaky with the city and our state, and we just got through them. Mm-hmm. You know, we got through them, and I'm really grateful that we get ready to celebrate 250 shows, not 250 years, but 250 shows, and this is going to be a great opportunity. It's not going to be anything that great we are doing. It's not going to be like the president. We're not going to have a medal with our name on it.
You mean you don't want to have a big fight on a White House lawn?
Well, I would like to, but not the one he wants to have. Okay, maybe he and I can have a little a match, and that'll be great.
You know, he's in perfect health.
Yeah,
you know, he could be an NFL wide receiver with the health.
Well, let me challenge him right now on our show. Would you please look at our show, Mr. President? I used to wrestle a little bit, and I don't think I'm in perfect health, but I think I would like to wrestle you on the White House lawn. You and I. Let's see if we can get this. Let that go viral, and see if he'll send us a request saying request granted, and see who wins. Okay, since he's in perfect health. But Coby, another thing I want to just really talk about today is I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful to God that He has really blessed our city. Yes. I mean, we don't want to take that for granted, but I've noticed some of the background work too. Because remember the last time we were talking, I was saying, you know, what could it be? And we try to give our own analysis. But I've watched how so many people are being sentenced now for some of the brutal crimes that were committed in the city and the state. And I think all of that has to do with it, and the people are behaving. Mm-hmm. Now, people can say, well, it's not been hot. It has been some hot days. And I think that we are being more civil to each other. But I'm grateful to God that we've had a very quiet, it's like we're boring right now.
Yeah. I think, you know, at the end of the day, it was a community effort, but then also taking a different look at community inclusive policing, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that we have seen, not just on the front of them solving crimes, but also when it comes to engagement in police brutality incidents, we've seen a decline in that since the strategy has changed. And I know when we started this show, Chief Tracy, Robert Tracy, his way was his way or the highway. Mm-hmm. And him and Mayor Pazicki had zero regards to culturally competent policing, understanding that you're two white men in charge of a city that is majority black. Mm-hmm. And just the way of life is completely different. I think with Chief Campos, he has done a really good job at not only rebuilding morale in the police department, but his community policing officers are truly that. They are ingrained in the community right now, and that's exactly what you want, right? Like over my way, we have Officer Gordon and Officer Banks. They are engaged with the civic associations, but they also know the youth, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not the youth, even though, yes, they see them at the different centers around the district. If they see them at the dollar store, if they see them at the McDonald's, the kids are talking to them, right? Yeah. Because now they've built a relationship with them, right? Absolutely. Officer Roundtree at the schools, Officer, Rosario, when he was out on the street, was also very well liked over the west side, right? So I think he's a captain now, but those type of relationships will go a long way. And then when something does happen in the community, because I've built that trust with you, okay, I have some details. Let me, can I tell you this? And you look into it, right? Yeah. it helps, goes a long way when you have those type of relationships.
And it's not even about a black-white,
Correct.
having all the black cops in a certain black neighborhood. It's really about a relationship.
Yes.
And the relationship is what makes the difference. As I'm listening to you talk about just your area, how so many of the people in some of the police officers and community civic leaders and things of that nature, when there's a real healthy conversation, it's really not an issue of race. We make it race when you overlook the fact, because when you said you had two white men who my way of the highway, and both of them was that way. Both of them,
Yes.
both of them, literally was that way. Like you can tell us what we need. Now, we've been saying we needed some community policing. We needed police officers to get out of their cars to do some conversations with our young people as well as our middle-aged people, and it's happening. And look at the results. I mean, and we're not saying there will be no more shootings in the city. We're not saying there will be no more violence in the city. But what we're saying is our research proved to be true. When you are part of a community, the community tend to function and thrive better. And that's what you've been saying since day one. That's what Street has been saying. But I can even go a little further, because Street was very concerned when we first started this about all the police brutality that was going on in the county too.
Yes, yeah.
And with those cameras, and now that we have definitely a county exec who is very much into funding the policing, but doing it appropriately. He's giving the equipment, because some people really talk about that budget like, my Lord, all this money he's spending. But it's being able to hold people accountable and being ready to hold people accountable. Because I serve on a police accountability board, and one of the things that he charged us with is to ensure that we're looking through the lenses of understanding policing, understanding the community, so that we can make sure that we make any recommendations we make will be very, very solid. So I'm just grateful. I'm starting off our show today over grateful. Just that God has blessed us to have a very strong community.
And I think, whether it's Wilmington or the county, I think both of them are trying to make better efforts to protect all residents. And at the end of the day, that also protects the officers as well, too. So again, I know there's been some incidents downstate, especially down in the beach area. But, up here, things are changing for the better.
Yeah, and we're grateful. So I want to say to Chief Campos and to the mayor and to the city council, we are quick to criticize when things go wrong. I want to make sure that on this show we say thank you for working together to whatever degree that you are working together, because our community appears to be healing. We're not whole. We appears to be healing. And it appears to be that with the methods that are being used are working. So keep up the finding the criminals and putting them in another place and space, as well as the community keep being civil towards each other. And I think that we will have a great community. And I can't wait to see the article that says, not Murder City, but Community City. Something that is, I'm looking for those type of articles to go out, and I hope that happens with some of the press that we have. We do have a situation that's brewing, and I've been in some meetings, and there have been some conversations regarding the homeless on the 15th eviction. I was hoping that there would be some resolution, but it seemed like the plans are moving forward. What do you know about that?
Yeah, so the last council meeting, we passed a resolution. All the members present voted for it, of our disapproval of the June 15th eviction date for what's going on down at Christina Park. That included Councilwoman Oliver, who represents that area, also voting in support
I'm sorry,
of
I'm
it.
laughing.
Actually, I think she has right across from it. I think the park is Councilwoman Harley's district. She wasn't at the meeting. After that, there was a statement put out by the mayor's administration, pretty much pitting everything on city council to make a decision, knowing that it takes us longer to make a decision because we have to follow FOIA. So saying that we have to pick a location for Springboard, and Springboard is a organization that has the Pallet Village down in Georgetown, Delaware, down in Sussex. It's smaller home structures, stronger than a tent, but individualized living for individuals. That has been suggested for up here, and now we have to ask the state for I believe, $1.7 million of ARPA funding that they have left to help build these, but we have to pick a location. So the mayor gave us 3 locations that he had been looking into and said council can make the decision. In order for us to do that, because we would have to have more than 3 council members in a room together to make that decision, we have to do it to follow FOIA. We have to have it for a first and second, have it at a committee meeting, and then have it for a third and final. So it takes a minimum of a month's time for us to do that, and that's all before July 1st deadline. The issue I had with that is the mayor has known about this funding and the potential to do this for over a year.
The mayor knew about because his position as governor.
Well, I guess longer than that. I keep forgetting he was governor. But he knew that he could have asked for this money for the city of Wilmington for a very long time, and to give the city council less than a month's time to make a decision now is completely playing political chess.
Are you at liberty to share the locations of where they are suggesting?
Yeah. So one location is in Southbridge. Do you know, I don't know the exact address off the top of my head, but back by the solar farm,
Yes.
as you come in from Newcastle Ave. The other is all the way down the 7th Street Peninsula, across from the state park. There used to be a nightclub back there before my time, but I remember when it burned down. But it's open land back there that's city owned. And then there's another property right across the street from Christina Park. It's not owned by the city. It's owned by a former state rep, Mike Ramone. But he has also offered that as a potential opportunity to build over there as well, too.
Now, let me ask you a question. With the 3 parcels that you just shared, will there be transportation near it so that these individuals can have transitions?
For 2 of them, it's right on the bus line.
Okay.
The 7th Street Peninsula is a little further out. I don't believe the bus goes that far back. They would have to walk all the way up closer to Naramco.
Okay. And I asked that question because I don't want it to become, okay, this is permanent housing. We want to help them get on their feet so that they can do better and be a part of our community. I also don't want them to be like, the leopards who are on the outskirts of the city and they're back there somewhere and nobody ever pays attention to that, because that can breed all kind of problems too. Yeah. And they are humans, and I want them to be treated as humans. So you have less than 30 days. Well, the 15th is going to be the eviction day of June, but if you all don't make a decision, will the city make a decision?
From the letter that was sent from the mayor's administration, they're not going to make the decision. They're going to let council do it. If council chooses not to do anything, then nothing's going to be done. Again, this is my personal feelings. I think right now, all of us need to put our differences aside, and stop playing political chess with people's lives. Again, I know the mayor is Catholic. I grew up in Catholic school. One of the core
tenets,
core values is love with thy neighbor. This is not a game. This isn't about who can vote for you and who can't. This is about, there's people in our city who have lived in our city, who've been priced out of our city, who are living in a city park, and you want to kick them out to host a kickball tournament and put in a new bathroom over there, but y'all haven't done anything in that park in over 20 years. There hasn't been any organized sport over there. The pallets that you put down killed the grass, so it's going to take time for the grass to be regrown and everything. You still want to put a bunch of money in this park, where you have parks that people are begging for you to upgrade right now that they can't even walk through because the pathway is so cracked up. But they continue to pour money in to this park. They continue to want to put money into this park to get it back online, while pushing these people just back out anywhere. You have people who are literally saying, hey, I've been trying to get back on my feet. I get placed on June the 20th. I just got a job. Can I stay a little bit longer? And they're told absolutely not.
Now, you made a couple claims, and I want to make sure that I'm being fair. You said that that there are people in the park who the city wants to do something with a kickball tournament. What proof do you have of that?
So it's not the city; it's the residents.
Okay.
They say they want to do kickball tournaments there again. This is what the district councilwoman has been saying.
And who's the district council person?
That's Councilwoman Harley.
Okay. Does she have any proof of this?
That I have not seen.
And I know Councilwoman Hardy, you do watch the show, because when you upset about something, you certainly will bring that to my attention. And the question is, what the problem? I understand we wanted transitional housing. I understand the look may not be what it needs to be, but you made one point that is very, very much true that I agree with. I was going to say I agree with, and that is these are human lives.
Yeah.
So if we're going to solve the issue, let's not use this reason for why we want to kick people out. Let's solve it. So if it takes a little bit longer for us to come to a conclusion on where we can relocate and give people transitional housing, why can't we have that conversation? Can the city, council persons, I know the city can make a decision, say, no, we're going to give it an extension, but can the city council people say we need to have an emergency call meeting, an emergency call plan, we need to suspend the rules of FOIA? I mean, what can we do to deal with this crisis?
It's very little.
Because I'm scared. I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying this. I'm scared that we're gonna pass the deadline and nothing is gonna be done. Mm-hmm. That's the part. That's where I'm really going with all of this.
City council is a legislative body. All these other functions that we get involved with, we're doing it because yes, you are an elected official. But at the end of the day, and what we've been told by this administration sometimes is, y'all have no say over administrative actions. Now, of course, we can send emails, but sometimes staff is told to treat them just like anyone else's email, regardless of our title, right? So that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're up against as well, too. Now, of course, you build relationships with people, and people, listen, the city employees, minus the directors, minus the appointed ones and everything, the city employees, they just want to help. Mm-hmm. Right, that's why they're there. They're there, of course, to get paid, but also they want to help their city. So most of them will help you to the best as possible, but they're also not going to risk their jobs.
Absolutely.
Whatever happens on June the 15th, which is going to be very closely watched, I think you will see both activists, you will see elected officials, you will see political candidates all out there saying, don't do this. This is not the way to do this. I think I'm the only one who has been arrested for nonviolent civil disobedience on city council. And it's something that, if need be, I'm cool with.
There's a couple others who are probably cool with it too, but I understand.
So,
but we don't. I don't want that.
It shouldn't get to that.
I don't want that. I don't want no one arrested. I want to have. How could there be a conversation? Where is IMAC on this? Where is because there are people who have closed me out. They said, he's not a part of a certain organization, so we count him out until it's election time, and that's when they're going to recount me in because they know I got influence. I'm an influencer as opposed to being a part of these little organizations. So. Where are they with this? Have you had conversations with IMAC, with other religious organizations on this?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. And not saying I'm disengaged with the process. My thinking has been, what can I do in this short amount of time to find housing for these individuals? And I've worked with a shelter who's in my district to be able to welcome in at least 10 more people than what they have the space. They are bringing on an additional caseworker and everything to be able to welcome 10 more people into their shelter, and their long stay. So minimum 8 months stay. That's the Sojourner's Place, who is under wonderful leadership under Morgan, right? And they are working hard and with me to make sure that we can get this done by this June 15th date. But all of us are working in different on different avenues right now, and I know Councilman McCoy is also working on additional resources for individuals as well too. So people are all working. I just haven't engaged with IMAC myself.
So tomorrow is the 15th. Monday is the 15th. Am I right?
Yes.
And it's going to be news people there. It's not a good look. I'm not happy. We have to find a way, which kind of leads me to a question that I have on my agenda today, because a lot of people are asking me, where is Matt Myers? He is the governor.
Yes.
This is a social service that is needed. I'm not too sure if I'm going to blame the mayor or city council to the level of, because of the services that are needed, as I would blame the state. Has he been brought in on this conversation?
He knows about it. Again, they came out during the winter storm and walked through Christina Park. In his recommended budget, there's less funding for homelessness services. And for the money that is put up, a lot of it is focused on Kent and Sussex.
Is something going on with Kent and Sussex? Because that seems like that's where the state is focused down there. When the popularity, what's the word?
Population.
Population. I couldn't give you the L. The population is here in Newcastle County. What is going on with that? Because I'm not jumping away from the homeless situation. I'm very concerned about it. Tomorrow there will be some things done. I pray to God that we don't have too much. I hope that there'll be some reasonable accommodations going on. But the governor has to be a part of this discussion, because he can make some stuff happen right away.
He can. And he can move some funding around. They're about to vote on their budget before the end of this month. And he could put additional money in there to deal with the unhoused community. Again, we just need to be able to get in touch with him to get this done.
I'm very concerned, Coby. Tomorrow, when we come back on Thursday, or shall I say next week for the show, we'll be able to report on some of the things that we have witnessed with this June 15th eviction. I like this administration. I'm going to be straight with you. I do. I've been able to have way more conversations with this administration I've had in many years of that other administration. However, I can't live comfortable in my house, knowing that my brothers and sisters, white and black, Latino and others, are being forced out. And where are they to go? What plans do we have? Have all the resources and the people who are a part of making sure that things can happen, have they been notified to the place of they're now giving their input, we're going to do this, we're going to do that? Because there's some forces that can happen to really say, hold up, I'll take care of this. I'll make sure I take care of that. We'll have it open by this time. And none of this stuff it seems like nobody, I don't know if people really care. And I'm concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm concerned. And, tomorrow is going to be a rough day. And I hope our community can come together and support one another to make sure we protect our unhoused community.
Well, we will be having that stronger conversation. We don't have a lot of time today to continue on. We started the conversation last week, but because the reality is tomorrow, I just want to make sure that we're bringing this to the front. And there's a lot of people who are asking me. Matt was a very close friend of mine. I have not had any conversation with him, but people have been asking, where is the governor? Where is the governor? Where is the governor? And I don't know whether any of his people watch our show to see whether or not we are asking that question, but that question is being asked. And when election time comes around in another year, because right now, ain't nobody running for nothing but those who are in the midterm part, but this state is on a different system. We can't spend so much time in Sussex that we are not paying attention to Wilmington or Newcastle County. I don't believe it's fair, and I don't believe that's who got him elected.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm going to say that very clearly, and I'll look in the camera with all truth. It was Newcastle County that got him elected. So we really need to refocus our attention on Newcastle County, because whenever I have people who support me and who I've influenced are saying, where is the governor? They think I know. I don't know. And that question is up for grabs right now. Where is the governor, especially in what is about to happen in Wilmington on tomorrow? We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to deal with the Coby corner. It's going to be, I'm sure it'll be much better than my corner today. But if it's not, then we're just going to keep going on with the show. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
heard a still small voice that said, who can we send? Who will go for us to these clubs? And I said, God, send me. I'll go.
Our Spring Fling week was one for the books. All the food, events, comedy, and fellowship blended in a way that brought us all great joy and memories to last. It was an open invitation for all of us to come together, do away with our concerns, and enjoy each other's company, aided by entertainment, celebration, a litany of good meals, friendly competition, commencement, and of course, the worship experience.
My joy is not circumstantial. It is eternal and deeply rooted. So even if I'm in hard times, I can still sing. I can still dance. I can still wave my hand. I can still show up when I don't feel like it. I can still pray when I don't have the words to say.
All of our comedians were phenomenal and had us falling out of our seats, each in their own right giving us a healthy dose of laughter for the soul.
Nobody has ever seen anything like this before. They've never seen it.
I did some stuff I wasn't supposed to do, but let's say the last couple months of my life, I got myself together, and the world come to an end, and I'm up in heaven. I know there's gonna be some up there talking about, mad because they're like, well, why he here,
Amen. Pastor got a cup? I'm trying. One more time, Pastor got a cup? I'm trying. Now let's take it over. Oh, I want juice. I want juice. I want juice. I want juice.
Even Pastor Curry, inspired by it all, hopped in on the fun.
Pastor got a cup. You trying to see what's up? You ain't getting none.
But beyond the jokes and beyond the shows, between the cookout on Monday, the brunch and community basketball game on Saturday, and the services and luncheon on Sunday, what shined the brightest wasn't any one person. It was the entire community. And I think it's safe to say that we're all better for it. On behalf of Pastor Curry and the E. Zion Fair Baptist Church family, to all who came and participated, thank you, thank you, thank you. This was a week we'll be talking about for a long while. And if somehow you couldn't make any of our events, the next time you hear about something new going down at E. Zion Fair, make sure you're the first in line to sign up. You won't regret it. After all, we are Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. Coby, what's going on with the Coby Corner?
So I want to talk about a few things, and Juneteenth is right around the corner. It's this upcoming weekend, and we have a president that is supportive of the black community.
So he says.
So he says.
Yeah.
Because there was a slight dip in black unemployment this 1 month in his administration. So he claims. He's bringing back the black jobs. So he claims.
They taught us that in preaching. Just so you know why I keep saying so he claims, because that's how you get a good sermon going. But go ahead.
The May report has come out for unemployment, and when it breaks it down by race, right? We have seen a slight decline, but overall, it disproportionately remains high for African Americans who are unemployed and at higher rates than our other brothers and sisters who are Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian, and whatsoever, right? So it dipped down to 6.6% after reaching 7.3% in April. That's higher than the national unemployment rate, which is 4.3. For white unemployment, it's 3.8%. For Asian unemployment, it's 3.8%, and for Hispanic unemployment, it's 5%. Right? So
And what is black?
we're at 6.6%.
Oh, we always the highest.
And the month before we were at 7.3.
So the dip means I'm supporting the black people.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
To hear what he said, we saw some numbers. We're doing really, really well. We're doing well with black jobs, African American jobs. As he says, he's going to invest another $700 million into coal plants to bring back the coal mines. And I just want to remind everyone where these coal mines are, right? These coal mines are in places like West Virginia.
Yeah.
That are 93% white.
And the other 3% of you who went down there only went down there for a minute.
Correct. They're not working in the coal mines. This $700 million infusion that he's using to justify why he's supporting black jobs and why he needs to put this in the coal mines is going to help people like U.S. Senator Jim Justice, former Governor Jim Justice from West Virginia, who owns a lot of these coal mines where he is very wealthy, private jet, very large individual. Almost reminds you of a TV villain character, and he has his dog who's too fat to walk that he has to pull in a wagon. Well, a staffer pulls him in a wagon. They are going to get richer, while many of Jim Justice's employees, workers, will continue to deal with things like black lung disease, horrible health conditions, because that is one of the only industries down in West Virginia, which has led to huge health disparities in families down there, and chronic diseases as well too. A lot of them to do with respiratory, heart, and lung diseases. I'll say this: if the president truly wants to improve the black job unemployment rate, he would end his war on quote-unquote DEI, which has just been a cover, not for actually what DEI was set up for. It has been a complete war on black people in the workforce. Absolutely. Across the board. Whether it's private companies, public, government, you see his Secretary of War literally removing highly qualified military leaders for the sole purpose of their race. Saying, oh yeah, they passed the test, they qualified, they meet all the requirements, but they're black, so they're just trying to move them up because they're black. No. These people have put years of service into this country, and you're mad because you don't want to see another black man or a black woman elevated to high positions. You're mad because you had to follow, the only way you got in office is by using racist trouts and race baiting, because people were upset that a black man was president and a black woman became vice president. That black man you knew you couldn't beat. So that's why in 2012 you chose not to run for president, because you knew you would have lost to Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah. See how smart he is? Y'all say he's stupid. He ain't stupid.
This is the same president who has time and time again used AI to put out racist videos, including the videos of President Obama and former First Lady Obama heads on gorillas. Donald Trump is not good for our economy, He's not good for black business. He's not good for black jobs. And we have seen that under his administration. The rate has gone up. So as we go forward, I'm going to add that to what I start tracking as well, to the Black Jobs Report, and see where exactly we are going as a country as well, too.
And can I just say this, because sometimes people don't know when you're looking at those reports. It's based on who's reporting. There are people who are African American are lost in that report because they don't report unemployment. It's all triggering from different places. And for us to be the highest, it says it's even higher than that. But we're just not capturing them in that number. I want to say that for that purpose, because sometimes people don't know. They're like, oh, we're doing better. No, some have fallen off where they're not even being tracked anymore. So I'll leave it there.
And since we're talking about America and how they, under this president, absolutely hate anyone who's different, the World Cup is here.
Yeah.
This weekend, we welcomed the Ivory Coast, a West African nation, to Wilmington, Delaware. They are going to be staying at the Hotel DuPont during the World Cup. Their national team is here. Honestly, I think it's funny because I used to play with Ivory Coast on video game. I was never a soccer player, but World Cup.
I bet you qualified that, because I was going to go ask some questions.
But when the World Cup was in South Africa and they had the video game, I used to love playing with them because they had Droba, who was one of the best soccer players in the world, one of the best strikers in the world, or is staying here. So it was very cool to be able to meet their ambassador, to meet their team president and some of the players when they first arrived here in Wilmington, Delaware. The African culture here was very welcoming as well, too. We have a lot of Liberians who live here in Delaware.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of Ivory Coast, which I did not know, who live here in Delaware as well, too. So it was a very welcoming opportunity just to share culture with that community. And the Delaware African Caribbean Chamber and the African Chamber of Commerce did a really good job of bringing everyone together and really highlighting that culture. That's how we do here in Delaware. But on a national level, and the World Cup is being hosted in North America, right? What does that mean? It means they're going to have games in Canada, the United States, and Mexico, with some of those games being hosted right here in our backyard in Philadelphia, you know, our younger siblings, at the Lincoln Financial Stadium, home of the Philadelphia Eagles. Ivory Coast is practicing at the Union Subaru Park Stadium in Chester. But on a national level, there has been multiple incidents dealing with immigration, where players' immigration status and visas have been held or detained. Players have been detained by ICE trying to enter to be a part of the World Cup. The World Cup promised an economic boom for the United States and for Mexico and Canada as well, too, and we are seeing the exact opposite. The United States stands or emptier than usual. People are scared to come out because Donald Trump has promised to have ICE at the games and stuff like that. Again,
It's a shame.
When we initially put in for this bid, and again, this was under the Biden administration, FIFA promised almost a $40 billion windfall in tourism industry to come in. Not just Americans, right? That's people from all around the world traveling here to see their team, their national teams play. And it has been a complete disaster under the Trump administration. Either the, Somali referees have been detained and everything under the Trump administration. This is having a huge impact on businesses across this country, and it's going to have an impact on businesses here in Delaware. Having Ivory Coast stay here in Delaware, you have people who are literally just coming to visit Wilmington to see if they can get a glance of their national team, right? Where they have more of an opportunity of seeing them here than they do back home. I was talking to a young family in their 20s who traveled from the Ivory Coast to America. They're staying downtown in Wilmington. They were eating at one of our restaurants and talking about, we ended up talking, but just talking about, hey, like, they're going to be here for the next month. They took a whole month off of work over there to be here, right? That brings in revenue that we need as a city as well, too. And I just think about how many people weren't able to get their visas and their passports approved to be over here so that they can enjoy the games and everything. So that's going to have a huge impact here.
I don't think he really cares. He just want revenge on people who crossed him. He can care less about this country. He cares less about any of this stuff. And I'm going to tell you something. The sports commentator, and I know I'm on your time, but the sports commentator who spoke out against him very strongly, they were friends at one point. But it was very, very narcissistic for him to come to the city of New York during the time of the NBA final, and they lost. He don't care. He does not care. Okay, so we need to stop even talking about him until he gets up out of there.
Yeah. All I'm saying is when President Obama went to games, he was cheered for it. But bringing it back local, Senator Jack Walsh introduced a bill, Senate Bill 272, which would introduces project labor agreements for schools. What it will do, it mandates that if enacted, this legislation requires school districts and charter schools to use a PLA with the Delaware Building Trades for projects that cost $1 million or more. What is a PLA and what does that mean? Right. What's the Delaware Building Trade? Delaware Building Trade is a union that represents all the different trade unions that are out there. That may include the carpenters, the steel workers, the electrical workers, the laborers, Liuna, right? They're the ones who build things, right? And there's bricklayers, all of them are in there. So this would guarantee that the work that is being done is union work, which means it has prevailing wages, which means there's a certain wage rate that everyone who works on that project is guaranteed, but then also that we know that money's coming back into our community, right? Those labor members are from our community, right? Regardless of their race, they're from Delaware. What we see with non-union work is you may see a bunch of trucks from Maryland. You may see a bunch of trucks from Ohio coming in, doing all this work. I know Bacini Pollen loves using a company that brings in a bunch of people from Ohio and Indiana to do work here because it's cheaper labor for them. If you're going to be getting government assistance, I think that money should be recycled back into the people who are paying for the project, right? It has passed the Senate and it now is going over to the House side. It passed out of the House Labor Committee and will be on the House floor probably within the next week.
Do you think it'll pass?
I think it will. I think they have the
Is
support.
there going to be a developmental rejection? Some of the big developers are going to be upset about this?
Oh, well, so there are people who are upset about it. The Associated Builders and Contractors, ABC for short, are against this. The Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce is against this because it says it limits competition and puts a disadvantage on non-union contractors who make up a huge portion of the workforce, right? There are more non-union contractors than there are union contractors. But again, it's all about do you care for your workers or not? That's how I view it. So we will see what the final tally is on the bill, but I do believe it will pass overwhelmingly down in Dover. Okay. And then lastly, the one last thing I'll say, with the budget now being completed for the city of Wilmington, we put $1.5 million in for eviction protection for rental assistance and for first and security deposit, first month and security deposit. Councilman Hackett and I are still working on our legislation for this. We have the funding for it. Now we have to get our legislation tailored for it. But we want to hear back from the community about how this could help you. And that will help us build more support for this. I know Councilwoman Will Howler has been engaging with her MPC and her civic association, but all of us can use more feedback on how these type of policies will be impactful and help you. I'm also, now that the budget is done, something I did last year is I go on my listening tour. I continue to go to my civic association throughout the year, but I go during the summertime, I go back out on the doors and just listen to residents, take notes on what they're saying and what we can help improve, and do my walking tour. And then also, I'm willing to sit down and talk about more policy. What else can we do to make the city better work for you? So if y'all have ideas, feel free to reach out to me. My phone number is 302-650-5191. Again, that's 302-650-5191. Or my email is cjowens, O-W-E-N-S, @wilmingtonde.gov. Again, it's cjowens @wilmingtondE.gov.
Now, what does CJ stand for?
Coby, and then my middle name. I don't tell anyone.
I tried to fix it. I just going to burn it out because I asked that before.
But no, yeah. Apparently there's another C. Owens that has worked for the city for 17 years. That's all I know about them. I would love to meet them. But yes, because they have the C. Owens, I have the C.J. Owens.
Yeah, and you're not going to tell us what J. J stands for justice.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know.
Or are you Jared?
No.
Kushner.
No, absolutely not. But I do want to apologize. Whoever the other C. Owens is, I am sorry if you get emails of people upset.
Is it still active?
It is still active.
Oh, so maybe they're still working in the city.
Yeah, they're still working in the city.
Okay.
And I know people get upset after not getting a response for a little bit, and then they may send another email that's a little spicier, thinking that I ignored them, but they're sending it to the wrong person.
Well, can't that person forward it to you?
I would like that.
Okay.
But okay. I know, because by the time they get the right email, they still blame me for not answering the old email. Okay. And I was like, look, I still take care of it quick. But,
quick as you can. Yeah, so as we are moving, we're kind of like at the end of your segment, but I want to continue to talk about the midterms. I want to talk about the Democrats, because that's going to help us to see where we are and where we're going. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we want to talk a little bit more about the midterms and how come the Republicans have such a more powerful voice in their messaging than Democrats. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Join us live for our weekly worship. On Facebook and YouTube.
I'm doing the best I can, but I still gotta have a little Chardonnay, and I still gotta have a little this, and I gotta still sneak around. The devil is a liar. That's an excuse.
Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. It's time for the midterms.
Yes.
Well, this whole midterm situation is interesting. I want to start by saying, how come the President of the United States can say, I love high inflation, knowing that that will be a talking point for the Democrats, but he's not worried about it?
Because the Democrats are going to do a horrible job with the messaging on that. And Trump is very conscious of what he says. He understands. There's a documentary about one of the buildings he wanted to build in New York and how he had absolutely no money to build it. But when he went into the banks, he would say key words that would get people to think that he could get it done. And that's how he talks. Oh, everything's grand. It's the best. It's the biggest. And people want to be a part of that. When he says he doesn't care about high inflation, he knows that if Democrats use that, they know that them just saying it is not going to work. That they're going to have Trump on video saying it, and then he's going to be able to say, oh, they just edited it. That's not what I said. So then, therefore, now you're promoting Donald Trump. You're putting his face out there instead of your candidate. One of the messaging issues that that gets under my skin with the Democrats is that they means test everything.
Yeah.
Republicans, what works for my base? My base is Republicans. That's who elects me. What works for them? Democrats, what works for Republicans? What works for Democrats? What works for independents? What works for Green Party? What works for Libertarian, right? Also, we're not hyper-focused on one issue.
Yeah. It could it be because it's such a large tent, or is it that we just not paying?
It is. It is a very diverse tent, but let's break it down a little bit more, right? Republicans, they have black Republicans, they have black Hispanic Republicans, overwhelmingly white Republicans. Their issues are more single-based, more memorable. Get rid of abortion, stop raising taxes, less government control. They've been running on those three for decades. And it really hasn't changed. The wording may change, but the theme is the same, right? Democrats, we have labor, education, housing, democracy, healthcare, climate, reproductive rights, policing reform, all these different things, which I'm not saying we shouldn't focus in on, but we have to find our messaging hub. What resonates with Americans, right? And it's very simple. Price. You want to say, Republicans want to say bring taxes down. Okay, bring down inflation. But even then, right, you know what inflation is. You're a highly educated voter, right? Everyday person who didn't go to college, maybe struggled to graduate high school. What's inflation? I'm not inflating my tire. I say that not jokingly because someone has actually said that to me.
Yeah.
What does I'm not blowing something up. So we have to get out our own minds, right? Poli-sci degrees. This is what my professor at UPenn taught me to say and how this would work. We have to get out our mindset, right? Everyone knows what taxes are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No.
Whether you like them or not,
Right.
everyone knows what taxes are.
Everybody know what eggs that's sky high
Correct.
are too. So the problem is we got to become more simple in what we are saying, and it has to be stronger because the Republicans are beating us crazy in the messaging side. Donald Trump says what he wants to say, and he says some stuff out loud, like you say, he knows what he's doing. It is no oops. No, the more you get a oops is because I want you talking about me and not something else.
Correct. And I think you do a really good job, even when we're on this show and I really get passionate about something and I start talking and just saying terms and it just flows so natural for me, CBDG, all these other things. And I'm not even thinking about it because in my head, I know what it means, right? I know what budget line I'm talking about and how it's going to impact this program and this program. We have to get out of that as well, too. Stop being so policy heavy. Stop being, I joke and say I nerd out all the time, right? We have to get out of that type of mindset and really move forward to what is truly going to be impactful, right? Explaining things at the grassroots level, right? I don't need to say, oh, CBG funding is great for the community, but funding to build affordable housing and that is cost efficient for people, that's better. People understand that, hey, something I can pay for, I can live in, I want to vote for that.
And it's not based on a community salary.
Correct.
Yeah.
The whole AMI, federal poverty line, understanding the different rates there, it's confusing for me.
Yeah.
200% of the federal poverty line here in Wilmington is different than Kent and different than Sussex. So when we use that type of messaging, well, actually I make above that. So why should I care if I'm in Kent? But if I'm in Newcastle, I make below that. So now I care more, right? You start losing people. So I just think, we have to break out of that. And sometimes it's okay to be on the defense, but sometimes we have to go on the offensive as well, too. But you have to do it the right way. A report came out from the DNC that people feel as though candidates resonate more when they cuss. And I said in the meeting at the DNC, I said, look, I see what the report says. Please don't go out and tell your candidates to cuss. If it happens naturally, let it happen naturally. But now you're seeing all these candidates F this and I don't give a D, right? Like, it's forced. It doesn't seem natural. It's not your just normal talk. Okay. You're putting it in because a report told you that cussing makes you seem more normal. No, if it's how you speak, let it be how you speak.
And you know what's really funny? Because the young man who is down in the guy who had the tattoo, with the tattoo, and where is he from?
Texas.
Oh, from Texas. Well, what was interesting is that he is not one who appeals to me, but obviously he appealed to those people because with just 4 or 5 years ago, with some of the things he's accused of, he would not even have a chance. But
no, Maine. I'm sorry.
Oh, right, because he's running against that woman, Susan Collins. But the things that he's been accused of, he would never have survived. But he went out and he started talking. And I said the same thing with our county exec. If he would go out and share the truth without all the fancy boards and everything, people would understand it better. They're not going to like it. They're going to understand it better. And it worked. I do think if we are more natural, because that's why Trump won. He was more natural than all these policies. And Hillary Clinton, I mean, she had so many policies. She was so smart. Oh, man, she was smart. She understood all the dynamics and probably would have done very well as president. But people don't, it's too high. Just speak my language.
Yep.
And even with preparing, people ask you, why do you take me so long to write one sermon? All week long, I'm writing one sermon. Why? Because I got to make sure that the person who has no biblical background can understand what my point is. And people I don't think the Democrats care about that.
Yep.
I think what they care about is let's talk to each other, who are nerds. All of y'all nerds. And you're right. I will say, well, what is the NBA? What is that? Tell me. I may really know, but I know if people are watching us really don't. They really don't know. So I just don't understand it. And I just think that the Republicans' messaging, they just got it. And this Speaker of the House, I mean, this guy almost messed up. This guy, he just says, the Democrats don't do this. And he says it so plainly. And it seems like, oh, wow, he knows what he's talking about when he just is dumb as a doornail. So I don't know. But now that we only got 1 more minute left on this show, I need to know, where are you at this week on the midterms?
I believe that the Senate is in play, that the Senate will flip by a very slim margin, 51 votes for the Democrats, 49 for the Republicans. The House, I am down to the House Dems still winning, but it would be maybe a 5 to 8 seat majority. It would be a very slim majority there.
Will there be a fight of who will be the Speaker of the House if the Democrats win?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. I think if it's a slim margin like that, you have people who are waiting in the wind who want to take their chance. They will take it. I don't think it would be someone from Hakeem's leadership team. I think it would be someone who's just very ambitious. But I think what he would have to do is he would probably have to coalesce with some of the progressives to make sure he has support, which means bringing in AOC more into the leadership fold to make sure he has her support. I don't think she would run for Speaker, but her support is going to be critical.
Do you think the guy from Maine will win?
I do, yes.
And why?
I think, again, people are very tired of the same old. Susan Collins has lost her way. She votes with Trump almost 99% of the time when it comes to his judicial nominations. And that's really, last time she was up under his administration, that's really where she was down to like 80-something%. And people were like, she's taking a stance. But that's such high rating. And just overall, she still votes with Trump overwhelmingly. But for the judicial side of things, for that being so high this go round, I think a lot of people in Maine, the independents, are going to sway back to the Democratic candidate.
Because I never understood how that could be a blue state and keep voting for that Republican, even though she says she's independent, progressive, I guess that's what you call them. And she is so much in his camp that it's unbelievable. And they keep supporting her. I don't know.
It's crazy, but...
Well, I'll say this. I'm still where I was. We're going to take both of the houses. I don't get into how slim it's going to be. I'm just now starting to focus on whether we will look like the Republicans fighting to see who will be the House Speaker. I hope that we have a Nancy Pelosi nearby to be able to say, y'all, cut the crap out, make him your Speaker, let's deal with what we got to deal with, and that is Donald Trump. Put him under control, because the problem is we're way out of control. And the Senate, same thing. At this point, hold this administration accountable. He just got more money for ICE. That's going to create more problems. Can you imagine them not having any accountability? That's why he's doing all the things he's doing. I know I'm ramping right now, but I want to take this opportunity again to thank everybody watching us. Next week we'll be doing our 250th show. Nothing special, but we just want to make sure you know we are consistent and we've been around for 250 years. We hope we can get some kind of conversation from J Street just to say, hey, y'all, I'm not on anymore, but you're still watching us quite often, and maybe we can get him to say something to us. But thank y'all so very much for the time that we share together, and we look forward to the time to come. Until the next time, God bless.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Coby Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.